come right in. Rock flag and eagle.
All right, welcome everybody back to another edition of Chairgatin. I'm your host, Rattlesnake, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. And we have Dakota back on again. Say what's up, Dakota.
Hey, what's up? Dakota Drake 4 here, coming south of Atlanta, Georgia. Glad to be back, dude.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back, except we weren't expecting to have you back.
No, I got the call last minute. I had to sub in. Sometimes, drivers got to make decisions, and they got to hop in and do that thing.
Literally last minute. I know everybody was probably not expecting Dakota, just like I wasn't expecting Dakota. What happened was we're doing our little co-host contest. It's like a rotation of potential co-hosts, right? Dakota, episode 1, great episode. Tonight's co-host had to bail last second because of work. Understandable. It happens. We have lives. So Dakota got the hidden immunity idol, got the call back. Whatever American Idol does, I don't know, but we're glad to have him back. I will say it does bode well for his odds to come back already in episode 3.
I'll take every chance I can get.
Well, yeah, you better, because
hey,
Colton did great, knocked it out of the park. Last episode.
Dude, I set it up and he freaking knocked it out of the park.
Exactly.
I watched that episode. I was like, damn, dude, he freaking doing all the shout outs. Shout out, Colton.
Yeah, there you go. Colton, you just got another shout out. You didn't even have to be on the show this time. So for our audio listeners that don't get to see our beautiful faces, we are wearing shades to block out the haters. No, but for Miami this weekend, although, Dakota got lazy with his t-shirt, I put on the Hawaiian shirt, went all out. I'm sure Colton probably would have went all out as well, but it's
Buy
fine.
a plane ticket. Buy a plane ticket. Get your ass down.
So, yeah, we went all out. We're ready. We're Will Smith ready for Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. I think that's the lyrics, right?
Hey, finally, our first oval. I feel like we had the 500. It's 500. And then the road course was totally different for second race. And now it's like, all right, we're getting into the meat of the season. Let's see who's got it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting this weekend. So yeah. I guess we'll just dive right into talking about Miami. The fact that we got a super speedway and then we got a road course back to back. We still haven't seen an intermediate race. This is going to be pretty telling. Do you have any picks? Anybody that you like for this race?
Well, it's so hard because their aero package they have is going to be like last year with the high downforce, low horsepower. So I feel like it could be I feel like we saw a little different race last year where Hamlin won it. And you didn't really have your same contenders. Everybody's throwing out big dog Kyle Larson, going to come and reign hell supreme with that new Hendricks car. Larson was always great there on the old package. He didn't get to race Homestead last year. So I'm really curious how he's going to do and how he's going to fare with this pack. Like, it might take him half the race to get used to it. But everyone knows he runs the high line, but he's never won there. So I don't really get the full hype. Tyler Reddick, he's really good at the high line. He finished 4th there last year. He had that little last lap mistake where he thought it was the last lap, but it was the white flag.
That's right.
Everybody remembers that one. But those
literally a rookie mistake.
Those two stand out immediately. But of course, you have Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin, your oval masters from last year. I'm curious where they're going to sit. I wouldn't sleep on Kyle Busch. 2019 champ. He won there 2 years ago, or 2 races ago there. So. I think he's going to come out for vengeance this year.
You can never sleep on Kyle Busch. By the way, already on my second beer. Mexican beer, of course, because I'm dressed in Miami gear.
What is it, Tecate?
No.
Or Modelo?
Modelo.
Hey, I was close. I was going to say that first.
One of those crawfish koozies that you have no idea where you got it from. Shout out Rockport Boat Club in Rockport, Texas.
Dude, me and my old
lady found koozie.
Me and my old lady, I have 100 Kevin koozies and NASCAR koozies, but anywhere time we go somewhere, it's like they have koozies. We're like, get a koozie. We have a big bucket under our sink just full of koozies.
I have the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like every good American should. A big bucket full of koozies underneath.
You never know which one you're.
kitchen
And then I
sink.
have like 3 that are my faves. But if someone's like, "Hey man, you got a koozie?" I'm like, "Gotcha."
Yeah, I think I probably bought like 2 or 3 koozies in my life, and then I just find random koozies like this Rockport crawfish boil one.
Hey.
Yeah, first 4th annual rockfish crawfish boil.
All right, who you got for Homestead?
Yeah,
Who
so
you thinking?
I think. Hold on, my dogs are barking.
Down, Cinnamon. Down.
Hey, stop. Stop.
Great content. Great content.
Yeah, I got my Rottweilers barking in the background.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point about Kyle Larson, because the first thing that comes to my head is like, Kyle Larson's back. Let's see if he can finally do it. This is the track that he'll do it at. If he makes his big comeback or not, he's in good equipment this year.
I mean, he gave it hell last week at the road course. I was very surprised how he was running.
But you make a good point, and I didn't even think about it until I looked it up recently. He's never actually won in Miami. For whatever reason, I had in my head, I was like, yeah, he's won a couple times in Miami. No, he's actually never won in Miami. He just races well there because he always goes high. But yeah, with this new package, you're right. It's going to be totally different.
I want to say the best shot he had there, I think it was 2017 or 28. I think it was 2017.
Yeah,
when Truex
exactly
won,
what you're talking
he
about.
had the best shot. Like he dominated like half the race, and the way they cycled out on the last green flag stops, he took tires later, and he was mowing down the front 2. It was Truex and Kyle Busch, I think, and he ran him down and caught him. And he literally said, like, he didn't want to interfere. They're battling for the championship. He didn't want to, like, pass them or mess them up or even interfere with their battle. So he literally backed off and finished 3rd on purpose. Like, he ran him down, caught him, could have passed him, probably won the race at Homestead. And he said he's like, they're battling for a championship. I'm not messing with the race. Yeah. And he backed off. And it was like, but
notorious good guy, Kyle Larson.
Yeah. The great Kyle Larson. I mean, and he's great. He runs great there, but people give it to him like, well, Larson's going to win this race. And it's like, dude, he's never won there. Why are you? I mean, yeah, he's good at racing it, but with this package, I feel like drivability kind of takes it out of it. It's more of who can keep the momentum going the longest.
Yeah. I think you're referring to 2017 with when Martin Truex Jr. won there.
Yeah. Don't fact check me, y'all, but it's somewhere one of the years, one of the teens.
I would say, yeah, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch are 2 pretty safe picks. Those guys have won a whole lot there, or at least more than once.
Christopher Bell's got plenty of momentum. I'm really curious how they got Adam Stevens as crew chief. I mean, he's a great crew chief, and then you got Bell. They're throwing everything at the 20 car. Clearly, from last week, you could tell. But like, where are they going to stand as Gibbs as a whole on intermediates?
That's the thing. I'm not willing to like throw the kitchen sink at Christopher Bell quite yet. I need to see him in an intermediate. Let's see how he does. He did run a really good race last week, but and even beyond Miami, Homestead's kind of a weirder track itself as well. So I'm gonna need to see like what the next 4 tracks are intermediate. So that's one we'll be able to see. But yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are pretty safe picks, but I also like the kind of dark horse that you said, Tyler Reddick. That's an interesting choice as well.
Yeah, very curious I'm curious how RCR as a whole, how they're going to have with speed. Reddick's going to be fast, but where's Austin Dillon going to stack up? He's going to be right there with him. I can see him getting a solid top 10 out of it. Michael McDowell surprisingly got 2 top 10s in a row. Can he keep it going? I mean, he's really not usually there on the intermediates or has speed to match these guys, but he's got luck in his side, it seems, and he's rolling.
So I've just pulled up the Vegas odds, and we're pretty close with like the Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch picks, but it looks like Vegas once again wants to go with Kevin Harvick. I think Vegas loves Kevin Harvick. They love his odds in every single race, regardless.
It's hard out here for a pimp. And I heard all that shit you were talking on the last podcast you did with Colton. Yeah, you were like, fuck Kevin Harvick.
Fuck Kevin Harvick.
I was like, he didn't say any of that to me. No, I could dish it out.
I told you that stuff before we recorded.
You were like, I don't like Kevin, but that was like all you said. And then Colton, you were like, he's an asshole.
He is an asshole.
Shit. He ain't shit. And I was like, I was listening.
Okay,
like,
first of all,
wow.
I said he is easily the top 5 driver right now.
Yeah,
easily one of the best drivers right now, hands down.
He's the old man, dude.
But he's a bitch. I would whoop that dude's ass.
Probably. I mean,
but the problem is, I don't care if I'd whoop his ass. The problem is he thinks that he's tough and he talks shit, but he never fights. That's what I don't like about Kevin Harvick.
Well, another thing you were talking about as we go on our side tangent is like, I feel like young Kevin Harvick he would buck around.
That's the thing. He doesn't really do it anymore.
He had a kid.
Married man, has a kid.
He's got kids now. He's an old man. Like he doesn't even get in confrontations anymore. He kind of just does his own thing.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think I cling on to my hatred of Kevin Harvick because weirdly, over the past, I would say like 5-6 years, I've started to hate drivers less and less. I don't know why. Dude, I used to hate drivers a whole lot more. I hated Joey Logano. I hated Kyle Busch. I hated Kevin Harvick.
To hate Kyle Busch. I used to hate Jimmy Johnson. I was like, because every race everybody went to, he won. Right. But then as he got older in later in his career, I was like, the GOAT, man.
Is there any driver right now that you hated as much as you did like 5 years ago, though?
No, not at all.
See? Like there's something going on.
I'm cool with all the there's drivers I'm like, ugh, I've seen him win so much. But then
right, of course.
There's not any guys I hate. But when I was younger, I guess maybe it's maturity. I don't know. When I was younger, I used to be like, fuck you. I fucking hate that guy. I hate watching him win or something. You know what I think
it is? I think it's social media. We came into the age of social media where we can connect with these drivers all the time. Then you're like, you know what? Maybe Joey Logano isn't as much of an asshole as I thought he was. Maybe he's just a normal guy that
used to
wins
only
and
see
wrecks
on TV.
People, you know? Yeah, he, right after a race, they put a camera in his face, and so we'll say something, and that's the last you hear of him for a week, so you fucking hate him. Social media, you just like see it all the time, and I think it's made me not hate drivers as much, which is kind of disappointing. I miss the age of hatred.
One thing I used to always preach about was like the Speed Channel young kid fan days was like you could get on the internet and like look up stuff, but like you really. I mean, unless you were like a hardcore fan, you really didn't know what was going on until preseason Thunder came around and the Bud Shootout came around and they did the drawing and drivers were up there with a new sponsor jacket or hat or their new ride. They were in a new car. And like back then you only had like maybe one guy went to a different team or, somebody got a new number or a new sponsor. Very rarely. It wasn't like 12 guys are in different rides every year. Also,
there was a lot more money in the sport back then. So sponsors wanted to stick around.
But like back then, dude, you'd be like, "Ooh, shit! I didn't know he's sponsored by DeWalt now. I didn't know Budweiser went to Case Kane. You saw that and you were like glued to the TV. But now, like, I know what's happening next year in June. Like, you find all this stuff out immediately on Twitter or Instagram,
right? Like,
boom, 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 and it's like I got to get the news. Like, every day there's something popping up. Like, oh, this is happening. Oh, this is happening.
Yeah, I agree. And it is weird. It's a totally different era of NASCAR. I miss the hatred era. I want NASCAR. Who is it? Vince McMahon. I want him to come into NASCAR. NASCAR needs Vince McMahon so he can like stage up some hatred again. Just be like, hey, Kyle Busch, get on Twitter and just like be a dickhead to people. That would be hilarious.
Dude, I have a good story from Bristol. I was like 13 or 14, just a dumbass kid. And I remember I hated Jim Johnson. It was like we won 4 or 5 in a row.
Right, everybody did. Yeah, you either hated him or loved him. Either you were a Jimmy Johnson fan or you were the rest of NASCAR. That was.
But we were at Bristol. My dad used to have season tickets back when in its heyday, and we went like driver intros that come in and out of this tunnel. If you've been to Bristol, everybody knows like they come across the track, and you can stand there and be like, hey, and they'll look or they won't give a shit and they'll walk right by. But I remember it was way before the race or something. And it was it was loud there, but it was quiet enough you could yell. And Jimmy Johnson was walking by with Chad Canals. And I was like, dude, there's Jimmy Johnson. There's Jimmy Johnson. And I said, hey, Jimmy. And I yelled and it like echoed. And he like snapped his head up and looked. And I went, fuck you. And I remember making eye contact with him. Like, I said, fuck you. And like, I remember his face was like, little motherfucker. And like, he kept walking. And I remember this day. And then now I'm like, why did I do that? He was such a nice guy. Like, he's an amazing driver.
I know. It's come out that he's like, he's just a nice guy.
Then back then I was like, I can't stand you. I hope you fucking die.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It
was like professional wrestling back then.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It was real life professional wrestling where you hated guys so much. And you've kind of looked back and you're like, why did I hate him again? I used to be that way with Kyle Busch because like he was winning all the time and everybody hated Kyle Busch and it was just like fuck Kyle Busch. But then now I'm like, dude, the dude's amazing. Like
we are witnessing greatness. Like he's an amazing driver.
I appreciate Kyle Busch, but at the same time, I do think Kyle Busch is a dud.
We need drivers with pizzazz. I mean, Noah Gragson's like I like Noah. I've met him a bunch of times and stuff, but like he's doing more than a lot of guys are. But we need I want drivers to get in fights. I want drivers to cuss on TV. I want drivers to, show some personality.
All right. Well, here's something I'll throw at you. Hate him or love him, Bubba Wallace does do those things.
Yes, he does.
He goes out and he talks his mind. Remember when he threw the water on Alex Bowman? I mean, he does all that shit that you're saying you want in NASCAR.
Yeah. And that's another thing is I think I said on Thursday, it's like, I love Bubba on the track, but off the track, I'm like, Bubba, please be quiet. But then that's good. Like we haven't
exactly.
I like Bubba. It's like I'm dead on the fence with Bubba.
I don't like him. Ever since he threw the water too at Alex, I was like, you know what? Fuck that guy. He does seem like an asshole.
Yeah, it was kind of shitty.
I think Bubba should. I mean, I think he should lean into it. But I mean, I don't know. Enough people like love him and hold him up as an idol now. I don't think it would work.
Well, then you get down the road with all these other issues, and it's like, look, I like Bubba. I'm all for like everybody else be friends and have a good time. But then I'm also like, dude, stay the fuck off CNN. What are you doing?
Right.
But there's this and that. But I want to see him do good. I don't want to see him do bad. But then other people are like, Bubba's gonna win this week, and I'm like, this is this team's third race. Like they're still make sure all the nuts and bolts are tight. Like let's pump the brakes.
So actually, I do want to go down a Bubba rabbit hole and hope that neither of us get canceled. So we're gonna do it very elegantly,
dude. I ain't scared.
To wrap it up though, for Miami, I was just gonna say. We'll wrap up Miami, move on. Your Tyler Reddick pick is at plus 2,800. So
that's another thing. I'm like, where can I bet like $20?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, where are these bets at? Or then you're like, you'll see someone like, oh, they bet on Christopher Bell for this and they won 20 grand. I'm like, where can I do that at? I just don't know enough. I'm just now, shout out Garage Guys. I'm just slowly getting into this whole betting thing. They're winning big money and stuff. And I'm like, hey, can I spare a cup of change, please, sir? I'm just with you. baby getting into it.
Well, yeah. And when it comes to betting too, I'm just like, I'm a terrible bettor because I never actually take the smart ones. I would throw $100 on Tyler Reddick, and that's the only bet I make of the day. And I'll just lose $100. And I'm like, that was stupid. But if I would have won, I would have won huge, but I never do. That's why it's plus 2,800.
I have this bad analogy I use all the time when it comes to like not spending $100, but if I spend like just a little bit of money, I'll be like, oh, that's only $30. I'll do that. Or that's only $15. I'll do that. I'll be like, I spend that on lunch and at the gas station every day. What's it matter? But then I'm like, my wallet's like, stop it. Please stop.
Right, exactly. You probably should have just threw the $100 and felt cautious about it. Okay, so Miami, we're saying Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, dark horse. Anybody else?
I'm curious. We've seen a little bit from him. My boy Ross Chastain, he's a wheel man. I'm curious. That 42's got speed. Kyle Larson in the 42 was always fast at Homestead. Ross Chastain can drive. I'm curious if he'll be a 15th place driver or he might be up there in the top 5 mixing it up. I'm
still not on the Ross Chastain thing. I can't get on it. He hasn't just shown anything to me, honestly.
Well, I was all about him in the Ganassi or Xfinity days, and like he was kind of getting the shot, and then the whole DC Solar thing blew up, and he kind of got screwed and had to start over. And
that
I was like,
crazy.
And I was like, cool. And I met Ross Chastain at Atlanta.
Very nice guy.
And he was super nice.
Incredibly nice guy. I've talked to him a couple times. Yep.
Yeah, he's super nice. So, and then, the whole farmer thing, I was like, that's cool, dude. So I was like, I just kind of got mine. I'm like, I like Ross. I mean, he's a potential like down the road candidate.
He walked past me. What was it? Like Kansas? I think he had a truck win that weekend or something. And I was doing interviews and I'm a nobody, and he walked past me and I was just like, hey, good truck race, man. And he stopped and like came up to me and started talking to me. And he's like, hey, thanks, man. Awesome. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, he didn't have to do that. That was very nice of him. I was just, so cool. Giving a little shout across the way. Very nice guy. It's just when it comes to like driving, I need to see it from him. before I can get on board.
Well, you remember that there was a Darlington race where him and Kevin Harvick went at it, and he wrecked. They both wrecked, and Kevin got all pissed off at him. And then you would think,
because it's Kevin Harvick.
I'm not a typical fan either. Where I'm like, well, he wrecked Kevin. I don't like him. No, I was like, he was going toe to toe with Kevin. That was badass.
Yeah, that is badass. You should go toe to toe with him.
Yeah,
Kevin Harvick's one of the best out there.
I didn't realize that was another reason I was like, yeah, dude, Ross, like, nut up or shut up. He threw it in there and slammed.
He's been around a while though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's been up and down. So he's been around.
He's finally getting a shot at a decent cup ride. I just want to see what he can do.
I agree. I'd be interested. I'd be happy for him. He does well.
Yeah.
Every week I hear his name thrown out, and I'm like, when has he done anything? We have these young guys right now that are in the Cup Series, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, fucking Ryan Preece right now, that are like doing things, that are making moves, and I have yet to see him make that move.
That's another thing I'm big on. Like, I'm kind of big on social. Like, I like Ross Chastain, but I'm not wearing a fucking McDonald's hat. Like,
yeah, I would wear. You know what I would wear? This exact hat, green with just a watermelon on it.
Or that they got? Oh, that was one thing at Daytona.
I don't know if they make that, but they should. Is all
at Daytona.
Like,
I looked at some of his. I looked at some of his merch, and it was like all watermelon stuff. Right. And I was like, if I wear that like to work, people are like, what the hell?
No, yeah. They have to know, because it's like a joke. Yeah. You know, if they're not in on the joke, you look like an idiot. But if they're in on it, it's kind of funny. It's the watermelon meme.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go down this rabbit hole. And Bubba's kind of related in it. Have you seen the headline of Alvin Kamara saying that he's going to pay people to go to races with him just to like show them that NASCAR is fun?
I've always you would think as an Atlanta fan, I don't like the Saints, but also I'm a freaking weirdo, and I like Atlanta. And
what's your college team?
I guess by default would be Georgia, but I really don't give a shit about college football.
That's very weird. I thought all the South cared more about college football.
Dude,
maybe it's just Texas. I don't know.
Like, a lot of my really close friends are like bleed red and black.
Yeah,
Georgia.
I'm like NFL, man. You know, I'm a fan of the Texans. Yeah. That's fine. College football though is like a whole nother level. So that is weird to hear from somebody from the South say
before we start down that hole too. Is like one of my best buds is he knows just as much about college football as I do NASCAR, and so I've kind of been like, he's the one I took to Talladega, and he like Ryan Blaney. I've kind of been like, hey man, NASCAR, come on, watch.
Yep.
And then with me, he's been like, all right, you know, this is what the dogs are doing. And I've been like, okay, you know, I'll lean towards the dogs. Another thing too is I notice is like every time I try to like, all right, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna watch college football. It's like Alabama, and I'm like, dude, how do y'all watch this shit? Like every time I watch, Alabama wins, and it's like.
Yeah, but there's like 130 other teams. That's just one team. There's so many other games, and the college football is just like game after game after game. It's incredible.
Alvin Kamara was awesome. He played for Tennessee, and he plays for the Saints now.
Right.
He's a badass running back, dude. Yeah. He's really fun to watch, and I think it's cool. I think he's like 22, 23 or something, but he's kind of like young. He got drafted like
17, I think. So yeah, he's young.
He's wilding. And then I remember he went to Homestead last year, and he was like, "Yo, what's NASCAR about?" I think Bubba Wallace kind of brought a lot of different views to NASCAR, and and it was kind of like he was posting stuff like, yeah, man, NASCAR's cool, and you know, like who hasn't seen that? But then it's like this is like the fourth or fifth race he's gone to now. He went to the 500, and like he's consistently coming back to NASCAR races, and then he sponsored Ryan Vargas at the road course race and the Xfinity race, and then now he's getting vocal. He's doing interviews with Bob Pockris, and he's like, yo, I want to get my friends to go. I will pay for my friends to go to races. And it's like, dude, he's like legitimately about it. Like he's not faking this.
Yeah. And I want to discuss the paying of friends and stuff, because we've all been there to try to convince people NASCAR is cool.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm telling y'all.
Right. I guess my thought on this is, you know, I know he came kind of more into NASCAR after the ban of the Confederate flag. Bubba Wallace got really outspoken about NASCAR, trying to get more of the black community involved. And in interviews that I've seen and articles that I've read, he's like, yeah, you know, I never thought I would be in NASCAR, but I go and I feel safe. And I guess my only issue with all this is that they're making it seem like just now it's okay. But like 5 years ago, it wasn't. And that's what bugs me, because it's like,
thank you so much.
Because it's
I'm
like,
so glad.
dude, I go to races at Talladega every single year, and there's a lot of black people there. And I'm not saying like, oh, we need to all get Confederate flags. But what I'm saying is, this was before the ban, and you could go to races. And
dude, it's such a touchy subject.
It's just, I know it's a touchy subject. That's why I say I don't want to get us canceled. My thing is like, it's a sport predominantly in the South. The South has large black communities. Like you go to these Southern races, and I've always seen black people at the races. I get that maybe that they say that they have different experiences, but they keep coming back every year. So I'm like, and then on top of that, Michael Jordan in the Daytona 500 interview talked about how he grew up in a town right, like probably 10 minutes from where my family's from in Eastern North Carolina. And he was talking about how his dad used to take him to, Rockingham and Darlington and Charlotte every single year. And he grew up in the 60s.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not trying to like say like, there wasn't racism. Obviously there was racism. I'm not like making an argument against that. My point is though, that his dad, who was an adult in the 60s, a father, was going to regularly going to NASCAR races. My father, who was, an adult in the 80s and stuff in North Carolina, regularly went to NASCAR races. And he even told me a story about convincing one of his coworkers to come, who was a black guy that moved down to North Carolina. And he had the same idea, like, this is, I don't want to go get lynched there, Confederate flags. And he said he brought him, and he became, a huge fan of Rusty Wallace and like a fan of NASCAR. And so I guess my whole thing about all this is like, it wasn't just recently that it was okay. Like we always wanted y'all to come into NASCAR. We've never been. I
totally agree.
I don't know. Like obviously there is racism out there, but I've never once been to a race and seen anyone saying and anything negative my entire life about any race. I don't know. Maybe they'll call that white privilege. I'm sure they will.
Oh Lord.
But
I literally had to argue. I'm in some group messages with friends about NASCAR and stuff. And we had some arguments about stuff or just debating really, but it's like, dude, I mean, you can go down a whole fucking timeline of a few people talking about Confederate flag and stuff, whatever. I'm not black. I don't know their point of view. You're not white. You don't know my point of view, whatever. But it's like, dude, black people, I've been going to races since I was a little kid, and I've seen, tons of, white people, black people, Asian people. I see all kinds of people.
It's like all different Georgia and Alabama. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Those states are like pretty split.
Yeah, but I always seen all kinds of NASCAR, and everybody's like we talked about Talladega's a good time. It's like NASCAR's a family. It doesn't matter what color you are. Everybody gets along. But on the outsider point of view, people that don't go to races or know much about NASCAR, they get this, They see
rednecks and Confederate flags.
Rednecks, it's the good old boys, rebel flags and stuff. And they're, oh no, black people aren't welcome to those. And it's like, dude, there's a black driver. There's multiple black drivers.
Right. There's been black drivers before Bubba.
In the
hopefully
day,
it'll be after. I don't care one way or the other.
But it's cool. Like it wasn't a problem. Why are y'all talking about it like there was a problem? Like, hey, there's no problem. Why are y'all making a problem? Like, there's nothing to talk about.
That's how I felt about it.
It didn't even have to be talked about. And then now we're talking about it. And then I've seen stuff on Twitter where people are like, I finally can be safe at a NASCAR race.
Yeah, that's what drives me crazy.
What are you talking about?
Dude, I have camped out at Talladega with multiple races of people with fraternity brothers of every race. And we always have a good time. I have no idea what they're talking about. And I was in a campsite in Talladega with a black person and a white guy that had the Confederate flag tank top, and we were all hanging out having a good time. I understand that
at races
and I understand that maybe those two might personally have completely different opinions, stuff like that. But at that race at that time, everyone seemed happy. Everyone had a good time. There was nothing was racial about it. And so I guess that. I mean, I'm happy that he's interested in NASCAR. I love the fact that he wants to come. It's just, I don't like this narrative that it's like 5 years ago or 2 years ago, whatever, it wasn't safe for you, but now it is because we've deemed it okay now.
Oh yeah. It's 2020 culture as a whole, the cancel community, all this crap. And you can't say this and you can't say that. And, if you posted something like this 5 years ago, your page is getting blocked. And it's like, dude, when the hell did everything get so sensitive? Like,
And just for
I
us
know,
trying to have an open discussion about this, we'll probably get in trouble just because
Yeah,
we're trying to
well,
talk
you
about
know,
it. You know what I mean?
I have friends that I'm like, they'll say stuff in the group messages, and I'll be like, why don't you post that? And they'll be like, well, I don't want people to get
Right.
mad at me or cancel me. And I'm like,
You're
well,
not
don't be
allowed
a
to talk about things. Yeah.
don't be a pussy. I mean, it's different if you got people paying you to do this stuff,
Right.
but like I don't, and I'm like, I'll post whatever I want. What are they gonna do? Unfollow me? I don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. And this is a much heavier topic than I wanted to go down. Obviously, I like to keep this podcast lighthearted. Don't like to talk politics, anything like that.
Peace, one
but
love.
I just
Alvin Kamara, Bubba Wallace, everybody's good.
So I'm happy that he's interested in NASCAR. I think it's great.
Hell yeah.
And I guess my point with this article is that he's willing to pay friends to go to races. And have you ever been in a situation where you've been convincing your friends so hard, you're almost like, look, dude, like I'll pay for your ticket. Just like come and you will like it. I promise.
My buddy last year, I told you about Talladega. Like I was like, hey man, like you want to go? And he was kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess. And I was like, hey, I already bought you a ticket, so you're going. I was like, I bought the tickets, and I have to go. And then he went and he had the best time, bought Ryan Blaney shit. I mean, I've had several times where like I'm like, hey, you want to go? I'll buy a ticket. I'll buy a ticket right now. If you want to go, I'll go. I'll get it. But it's always like I'm like, why am I having to? It's another thing. Like, I don't know why NASCAR gets this weird outsider look, but I'm like, why am I having to almost like beg you to go? Why? Like, it's fast cars racing, like it's badass.
Yeah.
It's a great
because
time.
NASCAR has been run into the ground. You know, obviously the France family is falling apart from where it used to be. But you know, when that headline came out, I was like, yo, Alvin, I feel for you, dog. Every NASCAR fan in the world understands what you're trying to say. Like, I'm willing to pay for you to come and experience this because I promise like 5 out of 10 of you at least will get hooked and you'll love it because it's just NASCAR is great. It's just you got to go experience it. And this is another thing last episode.
Another thing I thought about too is like, you know, how you jumped on and sponsored Ryan Vargas. It was like, you know, we're not gonna be bashful. These like us football playing buddies, they're all millionaires. They all have a lot of money. Right. But what if they were willing, like, hey man, this is cool. I want to sponsor a car too. Hey, you're sponsoring a car. I bet my sponsored car will beat your sponsored car.
Or
some
more
good
so,
friendly gamesmanship. There's more
importantly,
flowing.
What if they want to get involved and like own a team, right?
Because
than just because what are they sponsoring really? Like themselves? That's weird. But they could all collectively be like, dude, you know, 10 of us were all millionaires. We could buy a car. Like, and pay someone to run the team. That would be really cool. That's like my pipeline dream for myself. If I'm ever a millionaire, I'm gonna probably a billionaire at this point, but I'm gonna own my own NASCAR team. Everyone's like, oh, I'd love to own a sports team. I'm like, I want to own a NASCAR team. That would be the coolest.
Well, they always say too, though, like if you're in this for the money, you're not in the right sport.
Yeah. Yeah, it would literally just be for fun. It would just
you gotta have the money to blow.
Because I just love NASCAR. I'd love to be in the community. But
dude, that's all I ever wanted to do as a kid.
Feel for you, Alvin. We've been there.
Shout out, Alvin.
Hope you get more of your teammates to races. That would be great. We love everybody being part of the NASCAR community.
That was one thing too. Is like I wish he got into this, you know, during COVID. Is like I wish he could have seen, you know, a 2014 race, a 2010 race, or like
even just 3 years ago, even
just
been in like 2016 or 17, even
been
like
in
that
a race
was
with full grandstands, full pre-race ceremonies. Like he's only seen COVID racing and he's hooked. Imagine if he had the atmosphere of all like electric fans and, you know, everything popping off. I think he'd be even more into it.
I think a good example of that was like Dave Portnoy. When NASCAR brought Barstool in, what was that last year or whatever?
They were like, I was literally like enough, or the whole frat community and everything's one thing, coming to races for fun.
Right.
But like Barstool was huge for NASCAR. I was like, dude, this is great. This is really like exposure.
I don't know why they didn't keep that up. Obviously, there's a business side to it that I don't understand.
Yeah, I think something went wrong and they butted heads with something. Like Dave Portnoy's posting wild ass shit. NASCAR was like, "Who?"
That's the thing with Barstool. You have to be on board with that. You have to be like, he's gonna be saying crazy shit. But like
when they first started getting on, I was like, this is huge. This is gonna be great for NASCAR, and it was. Like I was seeing more and more people at races. I was seeing more NASCAR posts and stuff. And I was like, dude, and Barstool was doing the whole like, dude, NASCAR's awesome. This is badass. And then they're getting millions of views on their Barstool page. And it's like all these people are like, yo, NASCAR's. I know people are like, I thought NASCAR was dead. Like, I thought NASCAR
Right.
sucked. I'm like, you haven't watched races lately, have you? And I mean, they were getting all kinds of exposure, and then it just shit the drain.
But I mean, I think Dave Portnoy is a good example of this. A guy that, where did he grow up? Like New York,
I think Jersey or something.
Yeah,
New England area.
Boston. Is he from Boston? Yeah, he's from Boston.
He
That's
might.
right.
Yeah,
he's from Boston because that's where Barstool started. So he's got to have grown up around Boston. All right, so this northeasterner kid, definitely the opposite of what you would expect for a NASCAR fan to be.
Yeah,
and a person that loves sports but no interest in NASCAR, no knowledge of NASCAR, nothing. And he comes to some races, and you know, he could have just been saying this because he was getting paid, but it seemed like he genuinely enjoyed himself. He walked away with a nickname, Davey Daytona. I mean, the guy seemed to enjoy himself.
I met him a few times at Talladega. I met him the first two, and I met him at Bristol. I got a picture of him every time. I got a couple of pictures of him, but I remember like the first time they went to Talladega, they did a bunch of videos on YouTube. But the first time we seen him
at Talladega videos,
I seen him at Talladega, and they were walking around filming. And he's just walking around on the boulevard.
Right.
Just they got a camera and a microphone. And he's just walking up interviewing people. And I went, and it was a Friday night too. Because Saturday night is the more turnt night on the boulevard.
Oh, okay. So he was out there Friday night.
It was a Friday night. And Friday night to me is always the warm up for tomorrow night. Like Friday night, right. You ain't seen nothing. And he was walking around like, this is wild, this is crazy. And he was sitting there and we're going stage to stage. And I was like, I'm gonna say something to him. I was like, hey man, if you think this is cool, I was like, you ought to come here tomorrow night. So I was like, Saturday night's the night. He was like, oh, Saturday night's like when it's probably. I was like, yeah, this is like the pregame for tomorrow night.
Right, exactly.
And he was like, oh shit. And that was funny. Like I every time I've met him, I took a picture with him. I'm like, dude, this is a millionaire just walking around in Talladega, Alabama, with all these rednecks and everybody just drunk having fun. Like half people didn't even know who he was.
Dude, he looked. This is gonna go on YouTube, so I'm trying to figure out how to put this PG.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Blow?
Oh, one of my faves, dude.
Yeah,
Johnny
he looked
Depp.
like he might have been involved in an activity that takes place in that movie. A lot of it, and then a lot of this combined. Because I'm watching his videos and his eyes are like he's walking up an interview. He was like, man, Talladega's awesome.
That's another thing.
Dude.
All their YouTube videos,
Talladega.
all their YouTube videos were like great content. Where I was like, yeah, that's Talladega.
That's like the content I've been wanting to make forever. But dude, obviously, I'm not paid by NASCAR to go out there.
I told friends, I'm like, oh, dude, just watch some of these videos. Here, I got a picture. I don't know how freaking clear you're gonna see it.
It's not very clear, but
get clear.
His white ass face, he looks like a ghost. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the first time I met him.
Was he nice?
I was just like, yeah, dude. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, I'm talking like the owner of Barstool. And like, I'm on the boulevard in Talladega and he's just walking around like nobody's even talking to him. He's just walking around by himself, got the cameras on him. And I'm like, hey, man, what's up, dude? And just dabbed him up. And he's like, hey, man, cool. Like, it was wild.
And that's the race you have to go to. I remember him tweeting out that during that time too. He was like, "Here's my schedule." It was like Daytona and Talladega.
He was getting all into it, and I think some business deal went bad, or it was some sort of publicity thing.
Yeah, because he did like a Twitter poll or something asking people what other race he should attend, and I think everyone unanimously was like, "Go to Bristol." If you've gone to those other two, that's got to be your.
That was the other time I met him was the night race at Bristol.
Okay,
he was walking through the little. That's the thing. He was going NASCAR races, and they're just giving him passes, and like he just goes walk around wherever he wanted to.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I've heard Chicago's fun. That's one that I want to check out too. I've heard like surprisingly cool things about Chicago.
Took it off the schedule. Let's hope we get it back.
Are you going to come to Dakota this year? Come join me.
Yeah, what is the date on that? No, I got the schedule right here. Dakota. So I know it's like in the summertime. It's May 23rd. Oh, dude, that was gonna be a hard one.
Why?
So I recently found out I'm going to the Coke 600, and that Coda is the weekend before the Coke 600.
Damn,
so my buddy,
you're not gonna come visit me. I see.
Well, I definitely can try.
No, I see how it is. It's cool. It's cool.
No,
maybe I'll just call like Colton again. See if he wants to
Lord. Come. Shout out Colton. All right, now I have to come. I gotta figure. I can definitely try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, my buddy, literally one of my good race buddies, shout out Nathan. He's been talking. We've been talking about going Coke 600 the last couple of years with COVID and all that stuff. And he was like, "Dude, I really want to go Coke 600 this year." And I was like, "I don't know, man. I'll see. Like, I don't know." And then that tickets just went on sale this week, and he was like, "We're going Coke 600." And then like sent me a thing. He's like, "I bought."
Is that supposed to be like a good race to go to, or you just wanted to go
Well,
to a 600?
I've never been to Charlotte. I've never been to 600. It's a crown jewel race.
Right.
Where we've been talking about like, hey, let's knock it off. It's a crown jewel race. And so he was like, let's go. Or like, we're going.
I know like celebrities go to that race. That's like a big race.
Well, that's the thing is they're only letting 30% fans in or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get these numbers, but I need to look up some plane tickets. I haven't flown in years.
Well,
it doesn't make work. I was
waiting, but I guess I'll just announce it now. That I am coming to visit you in Atlanta. The Atlanta race.
I didn't know you were gonna drop it on the show.
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. I was gonna wait, but I was like, dude, I'm trying to get you to Austin, so I gotta.
Now I gotta
pull that one out. Yeah.
Oh so shit!
I'm gonna go stay with Dakota.
Weekend.
Yep, I already got the plane ticket. We got sent you the money, right? You got the money for the ticket.
Yeah.
Okay,
we're all good.
We're
in
good.
Friday. We got double header Saturday, racing on Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah. And dude, the weather here, like, I think spring's coming early because the last 2 days here have been absolutely amazing. It was 78 degrees sunny today. It was like 75 yesterday. It's just been amazing weather. And I'm like, if we're already getting this weather by the end of March, we should be looking good.
Well, with my luck, we'll probably get it rained out, but
well, I got rain jackets, so
yeah. Either way, we'll have a good time in Atlanta. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to make a lot of content. Yeah, we're going to be putting out a lot of content from Atlanta, doing a lot there. Yeah,
hell yeah.
Hope you're going to show me a good time, man.
Bump me on up. I was telling my wife tonight. I was like, yeah, my buddy's coming for Atlanta race. He's coming in from Texas. I was like, he's going to come with us for the whole weekend. I was like, thought about like going and doing stuff for the weekend. When we're not at the track, I was telling her, I was like, where do you think we should go? Should we go here or go there? And I was like, well, if he's coming, I want to show him a good time. We're definitely not going there. I was already trying to plan our weekend, like some fun stuff we should do.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You got to come to Austin then, so we can.
Yeah. I can definitely make it work. Literally, the only thing that'd be hindering me would be work. But I think like our summertime's the slow time. I can probably make that work. It's the end of May.
All right, so
I've never been to a road course race either, so that's something cool.
I think now's a good time. Take an intermission, and then we'll do our tradition of chugging a beer. So let's go grab beers. Be right back.
All right, pause.
All right, and we're back.
Lord.
We're back from break. By the way, before we get into this, I just want everyone to know that Dakota here was looking up tickets to join me in Coda. And he said, why is this track in Austin selling Georgia admission tickets?
Oh, go to hell.
I swear to God, he said, what is Georgia admission? It's general admission. It's the abbreviation, but just so everyone's aware.
I was reading before I was thinking.
Yeah, that happened.
Damn you.
I had to share that. That was insane. All right, so we got fresh beers.
Hey, freshie.
Yep. We accidentally cracked them off camera. Sorry, everybody, but just cracked these guys. Trying to let it warm up a little bit.
Warm up?
Because we're going to chug them.
Dude, it's so hard. We like when golfing, we play this drinking game sometimes. Mm-hmm. And if you mess up, you got to chug your beer. And we were playing, and it was like January, and it was like 30 degrees out. I don't know why we were golfing.
What would mess up consist of? Because I would be chugging a lot of beers. I love golf. Yeah, I play golf fairly regularly, but I'm still very new at
golf, but it's so fun. But we do like, if you chunked your tee box, or if it went 10 feet off the tee box, you could either take a shot or shotgun a beer. And we did unlimited mulligans for if you had to take a shot though.
Okay.
Like for every mulligan you had to take a shot. So like
if you don't tee past the women's tees.
Yeah. We'd be like, all right, shotgun a beer, chug the rest of your beer. Or like if you swing and miss, you got to drink.
Ooh,
and then we were doing like if you double bogey, that's a drink.
You know how everybody has like the joke, the uncle in the cabin story or whatever. My uncle's story was when I played with him and I didn't hit past the ladies' tees, and he's like, well, you got to play this entire hole pants down.
Dude, I've heard.
Yeah, and I was like, "What? No!" And he's like, "That's a rule. You have to do it." So I had to play with my dick out the entire.
Oh my god!
I did it.
Yeah, everyone's
I was like, "You gonna call
like,
my bluff? I'm doing it."
Damn, that makes me want to be like, well, when you come, we should go play golf. But then I'm like, I don't like. I just got like a little starter set of clubs.
And I gotta pay to get my clubs out there. Hell no.
Well, no, I meant like I'll get you some clubs.
Okay. If you give me clubs, I'm totally down to go play golf. I love playing golf.
Yeah, I got this like little rundown course down the road. It's okay. Nice. It's fun. They got like laid back. Like you can play and pay and do whatever the hell you want. Pretty much. They're just like, hey, don't drive on the greens.
Out here, it's probably like 30 minutes away. Willie Nelson owns a golf course out in the hill country.
Shit. Yeah.
And you walk in into the clubhouse. It's a trailer. And it literally just smells like marijuana because they're smoking weed in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not legal in Texas. So I don't know why they're so open about it, but they're just smoking joints and shit in the clubhouse. Funny. Yeah. And they sell merch. I have a shirt. It's pretty dope.
Hey, is Willie here?
Yeah. Well, his ranch is on the course. That's why he built the course. Cool. There. Yeah. That's like it's behind his ranch. And it's pretty much no rules. It's only a 9-hole course. But you can play it as many times as you want for one fee.
I got you.
And they don't sell balls or anything, but they have a trough, like a tank for cattle that's just filled with like random balls. And they're like, just grab a bunch, however much you need, every 9 holes around.
That's pretty cool.
Grab them out of there.
Yeah.
And there's like no rules. So you'll be playing behind. I played behind a guy in only shorts, no shoes, no shirt, and had his dog with him in the cart because they have carts there.
Yeah.
And then behind us was a bachelor party of like 19 guys.
Oh, God.
Because there's no like limit on how many.
Yeah.
And they were just blaring music, like fucked up.
Yeah, this one's not that laid back.
Yeah, this one's insane. Like you can do whatever you want. Actual golfers hate it. I love it. It's my favorite golf course.
Yeah, that sounds fun as hell.
All right, let's get to it. You ready?
Hey. Well, cheers.
Getting too old for this shit.
Hey, yeah.
All right.
Mine's way too cold.
Yeah, baby.
No, mine's not empty.
Still the champ. Still the champ.
You are forever champ.
Any co-host that wants to come on here and challenge me is more than welcome.
Dude, I have a buddy. Same buddy, about 600 tickets. Oh, God, it's cold. And he doesn't drink beer at all. But, like, if we're at a party, I'm like, hey, shotgun a beer. He'll do it. And he is, like literally, like, he could go to one of those contests. He can shotgun a beer in, like, half a second.
I'm pretty good at shotgun beers. I might be able to beat him.
He's really good. And he doesn't really, like, drink. He doesn't, like, party drink or nothing. Like, he'll drink a little bit of liquor or something. But he can shotgun a beer fast as hell, and he doesn't even drink beer.
That was my trick in college. Was how fast I can shotgun beers. And I don't do it anymore. So, like, to be fair, if I tried to now, probably hurt a little bit. But I used to do it in Talladega, like on the boulevard on Saturday night.
Yeah.
My friends would be like, hey, I bet we got a buddy that can beat any of your fastest guys.
Bring it on.
Yeah. One time all I had was the tall boy, and this guy was real cocky. And I was like, God. Dude, I'd whoop your ass, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, you know what? I'll do the tall boy. Let's go. And I still beat him with my tall boy.
Bring him to me.
Just saying.
That's badass, dude. Oh, yeah.
So,
y'all were talking.
It is badass. That's why I told the story. I want you to think that I'm cooler than I am. So I can still wrap up the show to like find our way back to NASCAR somehow.
We've gone down a bunch of rabbit holes.
This is the problem with having you on. So unorganized. We need like segments.
We need an itinerary, but still, it's fun. It's good conversations.
Yeah, I hope people enjoy listening to our conversations. The views have been pretty good. So what I wanted to talk about was biggest surprises right now in the point standings.
Oh boy.
Have you looked at these? You can pull them up if you need to.
I got you right here, dog. I mean, we can all without a doubt.
So I'll just kind of go down the list real quick for our listeners. Number 1, Denny Hamlin. Number 2, Joey Logano. Number 3, Kevin Harvick. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Not surprising in any season for the past 5 years.
Yeah,
those are very normal to see. Mm-hmm. But here's where things start to get a little weird. Number 4, Christopher Bell. Number 5, Chase Elliott. Makes sense. Number 6,
returning champ.
Michael McDowell. Number 7, Ryan Preece. Number 8, Kurt Busch. Number 9, Austin Dillon. And number 10, Brad Keselowski. So I'll just read through the top 10 there. We can go further down, but are there any
wild cards in there?
Yeah.
I mean, shout out Michael McDowell, dude. Yeah, the 500 was kind of crazy. Like, who would have ever saw him winning? But comes back, has a shitty start to last week's road course racing, comes back to our top 10, solidifies himself in the top 6, which, I mean, how long is that going to last? How long are his good runs going to last? But very, very great start for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Preece, unchartered in 7th. I mean, Ryan, I really don't care about Ryan Preece, but, for them to be like, hey, we sold our charter, we've got to qualify for these races, and then boom, boom, 2 top 10s, that's freaking awesome. And that's great views for sponsorship dollars and, like, hey, we're here to play. I mean, Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, they've been solid. Not surprised there. Another thing, Cole Custer's P11, you didn't get to mention, but right. But Cole Custer, that's really good for him. P11, and then as you go down to the top 10, there's some surprises, which always the beginning of the season is kind of like, it's boom, boom, boom. Whoever has some good starts is up there, and people will move up.
That's why I didn't want to go too far down, because I'm like, at this point, there's nothing.
Like we were saying, like once you get to Homestead and start clicking off some of the West Coast,
the next 4 races, I think, are gonna
you'll see some changes. But it doesn't hurt to start at the top. I mean, if you're already getting yourself, I mean, you can only drop back so much. I mean,
after the Daytona 500, Austin Dillon was the points leader.
Yeah, dude,
that surprised me.
That just goes to show every freaking point matters.
And then, of course, Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace had to be like back to back, of course, because why not?
Yeah,
just the storyline there. But I would say, looking at it, obviously there's a lot of wild cards here, and obviously you can say Christopher Bell at number 4 is the biggest surprise. That's an easy one.
Hey, wins, dude. Wins are important.
Well, yeah, you could say Michael McDowell at 6 is the biggest surprise. But what I'm going to say is Ryan Preece at 7 is the biggest surprise, because the other 2 actually had wins. And with only 2 races, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Ryan Preece, where the fuck did he come from?
Just consistency, dude. I think he got to good stage points in Daytona. And, had a really great top 10 run there. Super quiet. I mean, he was there, and I don't even remember him really.
Has he done anything the past 2 seasons? Because wasn't it his rookie season was 2 seasons ago?
He had some like mediocre runs in Xfinity, and then he took the deal. He took his sponsorship money, and I think he had 6 races with Gibbs, and I want to say 2018 in Xfinity with Gibbs, and he won like 2 of the races in the 20 car, and it was like the part-timer car. And they were like, "Oh my God, Ryan Preece can drive," but Gibbs didn't have anywhere for him. So I can't remember. I think he ran a full-time season for him in Xfinity, maybe after that. But then whatchamacallit, JTG was like, "Hey, dude, we got a seat. Boom, come drive our 37 car." And last year he was trash. I mean, he had some runs, but he had super bad luck. I remember. I think he wrecked like 8 weeks in a row. He had like 8 DNFs in a row.
I mean, the year before that, I think he was even worse. Though, because it was 2 years ago, I think was his rookie season.
Yeah,
and I just remember it was the worst rookie of the year competition I could remember, because it was Daniel Hemrick and Ryan Preece. Neither one did anything all season, and Daniel Hemrick won rookie of the year. And literally, before he won rookie of the year, he already lost his ride. They already announced that he lost his ride.
Yeah.
And then they awarded him rookie of the year. And I'm just like, dude, that is insane. He's a Cup Series rookie of the year, lost his ride. Ryan Preece didn't even beat Daniel Hemrick for rookie of the year. I don't know where this is coming from. I didn't expect this.
It's like he can drive, but it's like he always had like a dark cloud over him. And I mean, he's in the 37 car. I think he just really had the 2 races go his way. I like to see it for, an underdog, but I mean, I don't expect him to be a contender or be up there much longer.
No, I wouldn't either. Also kind of a surprise there for me, at least, was Brad Keselowski. I feel like is a guy that has been kind of slipping the past like 3 seasons. I mean, he used to be like a championship contender, Brad Keselowski. You know what I mean?
Well, he was in the Final Four last year. A very quiet season. No, he had 4 wins last year, but they were all they weren't races. I think there was a couple races he battled hard and had the fastest car. But like Bristol spring race fell in his lap. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano wrecked.
Right.
And he had some wins just like line up for him. And he very quietly just was in the Final Four. And he didn't do shit at Phoenix, really. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't really, or I guess, I think he finished like second, actually. However, Joey Logano, I can't remember. But he definitely had a tear, or he almost won the Daytona 500. So then he finishes wherever, but then he wrecked like 8 times last week and still came back and finished top 5.
Right. Yeah, and
So,
he's a guy for some reason that they always rumor Penske like dropping.
yeah, like, well, everybody too is like, it's almost like he's the black sheep of Penske.
Yeah.
He was the lead ship there, and then Joey Logano's really been stringing along, and then now you have Ryan Blaney coming up, and it's almost like they're like, hey, old man, hit the road. And it's like everybody's like, they suspected him to go to Hendricks this year, last year.
Yeah, that was the big move that I thought was going to happen. I was like, I could see it. I mean,
yeah. And then
he's not appreciating him, I guess.
Well, the big deal is he only signed a 1-year contract this year.
Right.
So, I mean, 1-year contracts usually like, they only signed you for a year. Where, are you going to sign another year next year, or where are you going after this?
Yeah, maybe retirement's coming soon. I don't know.
Well, he's still, I think he's not even 40 yet.
No.
I think he's like 38. Let's look it up.
Really? Is he still that young? I feel like he's been in the league for so long.
He has. Well, I think 2009 was when he won that Talladega race with Carl Edwards.
Yeah.
So like he's only been racing like 11 years.
Yeah. Brad Keselowski, quiet champion.
He's 37. 37.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Brad. I always said if like I hadn't been a diehard long time Kevin Hart fan, like if I'd been coming up a little later or something, I could have been a Brad Keselowski fan.
In terms of merchandising, Brad Keselowski is the best fan to be a part of. You get
all the
number 2.
shoes.
That's a dope logo. Miller Lite, everything.
Yeah, I could have been a Brad K fan, and I like his driving style. Like he's been in some fisticuffs. He's had some drama go on. Like, and he's won a championship and he's won some damn races.
A lot of people hated him when he started.
Yeah,
he's a very hated driver.
Well, another thing, he came up through Junior Motorsports. Remember, he raced the '88 Navy in the Nationwide Series. I mean, I've always kind of liked Brad K, but I never really got to hitch to his trailer.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Hopefully he can step it up this year. I mean, yeah, it seems like Penske's kind of putting all their eggs in the Ryan Blaney basket. Obviously, Joey Logano, that's a whole nother thing. That's Joey Logano's job security is, God level.
No, he'll never ever
right. But it seems like Penske's kind of like moved full on. Like we're back in Ryan Blaney.
They're getting on the Austin Cindric band. They're getting on the Austin Cindric band. Like I could see Brad filing maybe like another 1-year deal next year, and then Austin Cindric will be in the 21, and then maybe after that, he either retires or goes somewhere else, and Austin Cindric goes to the 2.
Because the thing with Ryan Blaney, and I know there's a lot of Ryan Blaney fans out there that they already hate me, so I don't really care. The thing with Ryan Blaney is he's a good driver that'll never win a championship ever.
Yeah, almost like Denny Hamlin-esque. Like he's
not even as good as Denny Hamlin, I don't think.
Yeah, I like Ryan Blaney. I like his swagger, but then he's always got these fucking random ass sponsors that I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And Ryan
Blaney's a competitive driver. He's a good driver. I just don't. And look, he's young, so this is a big. I'm guessing here, but I don't think he'll ever win a championship. I don't know if maybe he'll compete for a championship. I don't know. It's just, I think there's a lot of young talent coming up that might already be ready to like surpass him soon. Yeah. And he couldn't keep up with Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott just took off. So
the thing is, dude, like they're starting all these kids so young at like 19 and 20 and shit that like Joey Logano has been racing for like 13 years now in the Cup Series. Right. And he's only like 32.
I know. It seems like forever ago.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, well, back in the day, these dudes were like 50, 55, 60 racing the Cup Series. Well, now like 37's old. You're the old guy at 37 racing in the Cup Series. And it's like 32's the veteran. Chase Elliott's been 5-6 seasons. He's a champion and a veteran, Chase Elliott. And I'm older than him. And it's like, dude, like
same.
What it's
right.
It's kind of crazy. William Byron, he's on like his 3rd or 4th season. Alex Bowman. I mean, these guys have been racing for years now, and they're all still in their 20s.
And something that I find interesting as well is like NASCAR, I think the more I've watched it too, especially recently with the younger drivers, is a sport that requires a lot of maturity. I think you really have to spend a lot of years like perfecting your craft. And so for all these teams to go like all in on these really young kids,
Yeah.
it's like this is going to take like 10 years to pan out, like to see these guys actually, become
Joe Logano
as good
is
as they are.
the best example of that. I mean, he's the best thing. Mark Martin likes him. Throw him in the 20 car. And I mean, he was mediocre at best. They gave him a rain out win. He won a Pocono race, and then they gave him the boot. Like anybody in the 20 car until now, our savior, Christopher Bell. Anybody in 20 car was getting the boot. And the Joe Logano goes to 22, revamps his whole idea, mentality, image, finally gets, some wins under his belt, boom, champion. And Joe Logano is a contender week in and week out now. But he wasn't
once
shit
Kyle
when he was
Busch
a
is
little
gone,
kid.
Joey Logano's going to be the Kyle Busch, the guy that is there every single weekend, ready to win a championship every single year. Because like you said, he's still really young. You kind of forget because he's been around for so long now, but
he's off to a great start, was leading the last lap in the 500, and he was leading coming to the white at the road course. Two completely different races.
Did he came in right before Austin Dillon and Kyle Larson, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think like a year or two, though. But
it
was close. All those guys,
it was
I remember,
early teens, or
because those were the young gun. That was the young gun then, and now it's completely shifted. It's funny to think that those guys were the young guns back then.
I remember little Joey.
Yeah, so does Tony Stewart.
His rookie. I'm gonna beat his ass.
Yeah, poor Joey, man.
I'm gonna spank his ass. Joey's rookie year was 2009.
Oh, okay.
So what? He's, 12-year veteran. I was close to 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's still that. And Joey's like 31. I know he's just a year or two older than me.
Yeah, he's right around my age. Man, how depressed does that make you?
Joey's 30.
How depressed does that make you?
Yeah, and he's a champion millionaire.
Yeah. Like, shit, man. But you know what I always do is I always just like push it off on my parents. Like, that's y'all's fault, man. Y'all should have raised me better, I guess. Just push everything off on my parents.
Right. I could have been a NASCAR driver.
Yep. It's y'all's fault. That's the mistake I make. Well,
damn, boy.
Yeah, I think that wraps up this episode.
Hey.
Miami.
We're going to Miami. Dude, I can't wait. Homestead's a great track. It doesn't have that championship-esque after, they moved it, but it's still a badass track. You got low line, high line is king if you can run it and stay out of the wall. I think it's going to be a good race. I hope the package works well with it. Everyone's calling Kyle Larson, but let's see if he can bring it.
Yeah, I liked your point that he hasn't ran this package yet, so we'll see.
Yeah. It might work. He might run 10th.
So yeah. I wish I knew who the next co-host was at this point. It's kind of up in the air. We'll see if I can.
Well, your buddy had to work, man. Give him another shot.
Yeah.
I'm always here to fill in if you need me.
Oh shit.
We'll bring it. Hey, a couple more weeks. You're gonna be in Atlanta. We could do a live episode. We can do live content. We'll bring in the heat.
Yeah, y'all are gonna see me in Dakota's little corner there in a couple weeks.
Oh shit! Yeah, we can spin it out.
Tearing down all the number 4 stuff.
The Kevin Harvick Shrine. Yeah, this is only like a little smidget of it too. You can't see this.
Oh God!
I must throw up. I'm in my little man cave. Is what I call it.
All right. Yeah. Well, Dakota, thanks for coming on again, saving the show. We're ready for Miami. We will talk to y'all, I guess, after the Miami race, and do Colton, and we'll say like, subscribe, follow.
Hey, shout out Chairgatin Podcast, your boy Rattlesnake, Dakota Drake 4. Like, subscribe, comment down below. It's going down. We're gonna bring you content all year. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. We're going racing, baby.
Dakota had that written down, by the way. For everybody, like an audio, he was reading that off of paper. Just so you know, he was prepared for that.
Damn it, boy.
All right. Thanks again, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace.